Hello, everyone, and welcome. I keep trying to look regal, but it doesn't go very well. Welcome to another episode of the Under the Cushions podcast, where we talk about spooky, creepy things, and we dive deep into the crazy and the weird and the unsettling and the unknowing and the mysterious and the sketchy and the outside and the outlandish and the
I just want to see
freaky.
how many words.
My name is Jordan. With me is my co-host.
Who am I to you?
Cassandra, and today we are going to be talking about the exorcism of
Anna Ecklund?
Anna Ecklund. The exorcism of
I
Anna
have to double
Ecklund.
check if that's the actual name.
I don't know anything about this. I hope you guys don't either. We are going to explore it together. So let's do this.
Okay, so let me ask you a question.
Ask me a question.
How do you feel about demons?
Not well.
Then you're going to be in for a real treat. Do you know anything about exorcisms?
I know that there's a lot of water involved, some slapping, and there's a lot of yelling.
Just water?
The only exorcisms that I know about are those performed in movies. And I'm assuming they're 100% accurate recreations of those events.
Well, get ready for it, because this is one of the exorcisms that helped inspire the Exorcist movie.
Oh, okay.
One of them.
Okay.
There are more.
There are more?
There's so many exorcisms, you don't even know.
How many are there?
A
Hundreds?
lot.
Oh, God.
Well, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Now, last night, remember, I was writing these notes as you were streaming, and it was just getting terrible the further along I got, and it was really hard for me not to say anything to you because I just wanted to share all the horrible things that were happening.
Oh, my God. All I remember from last night was you saying, I don't think that's how body parts work, and how did she get onto the walls? And then we talked about monkeys for a little bit.
We did talk about some monkeys for a little bit, but we're going to talk about more monkeys today.
Oh, no.
So go ahead and show our first picture. But hold on. I do have to say that this exorcism is what a pamphlet that was published in like the 1930s called Begone Satan is based on, which is why I kept screaming, Begone Satan, yesterday. So this is the pamphlet, a soul-stirring account of, I don't know. Diabolical possession in Iowa.
Oh, Iowa.
Oh, Iowa. So our story begins in the Midwest in 1882. Anna Ecklund, sometimes referred to as Emma Schmidt or Mary, because they changed her name. She ended up changing her name after, and you'll see why. But her real name is supposedly Anna Ecklund. I couldn't find pictures of her, so don't have that. But she was born in 1882. She was raised a devout Catholic, went to church, very, devout is the best word. So this is where we start to get fun. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
So she had this aunt named Mina. And Mina was known to be the local witch.
She was known to be the local witch?
She just dabbled in black magic, apparently. Hung out. Oh, and also, I actually put also. Mina, her aunt, was also her father's mistress.
Okay.
So stuff's going on there. But it gets better. Are you ready?
Does it? I'm not ready for it.
Okay. Anna, the daughter, was cursed by her aunt, who was her father's mistress.
Okay.
By putting like spells on like spices and herbs and then like mixing it into her food and like poisoning her, essentially, I guess.
Like an 8-step process for something that's...
But we know why. We know why she was cursing her.
Okay. Go on.
Do you want to know?
I mean, if it's part of the story.
I'm uncomfortable. This laughter is nervous laughter because I don't like it. Okay. Her father also cursed her because she wouldn't sleep with him.
I mean, if you're going to come up with any excuse.
As a child.
Oh.
So She's a kid.
I mean, it's not.
She's a kid, okay?
Oh, okay.
And he's like, sleep with me, and she's like, Dad, I'm 10. It's really
Was
fucked
she
up.
actually 10?
She was like she was a kid because our story. My next bullet is by 14, so yeah, it's all like before the age of 14.
Wow. Okay.
He wants to have her as another mistress, so he gets together with his first mistress, Mina, who is her aunt, and is like, "Hey, I want to sleep with my daughter. Help me curse her." And Mina's like, "Okay."
You're so persuasive. He's a very persuasive man. When it comes to cursing children, I guess.
I'm uncomfortable with that. Okay. So I put major ew, and I underlined it a lot. So the aunt would like poison her food, and they cursed her, and they called upon Satan to help him have sex with his child, which is fucked. I want to know where the wife is doing this. They never said it where her mom was, or.
Well, I mean, if the mistress is in the picture, then she's obviously gone. Like she's away.
Do you know what a mistress
Like if it's
is?
like actively going on, like that's what I'm saying. Like there's no way that he was like, you know what I mean?
I never mentioned it, but I get really worried.
What year does this take place?
1882 was when she was born, so they're late 1800s. Okay. By 14, she was experiencing an intense aversion to anything religious. She couldn't go in churches, she couldn't see crosses, she would like scream and like holler and just wouldn't do anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
She couldn't enter the church, and she formed a quote-unquote almost obsessive interest in deprived and disturbing sexual acts.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, her dad is essentially a terrible person. But that's by 14, okay?
Jesus.
Well, she's going along, and she's hanging out, and by 26, the quote that I read said, Anna was completely and totally possessed. And that's kind of how...
By 26?
By 26, she was completely and totally possessed. But the symptoms of it began when she was 14.
Wow. That's...
I never realized things took that long for a demon to possess you. They apparently had other things to do.
Well, isn't it? No, because they have to like slowly like break you down mentally.
I mean, maybe.
And, you know, they have to make you want. Isn't that how it goes? Like the demons have to make you want them to save the person to save them. The demon to save the person. The person has to want the demon to save them.
I don't know.
Or something like that. I feel like it's
But by 26, she's completely and totally possessed. I liked that wording. Completely and totally.
100%.
As if there's room for doubt.
There might
be. By 26, she actually does end up having her first exorcism.
Okay.
But we'll talk about that in just a second. Her first.
One of many.
Her first. Okay. It was also alleged that Mina and Jacob, who is her father, called upon the devil so that Anna could be repossessed after, if she ever got rid of the first demons.
Yeah.
They wanted her to be repossessed because, all right. Because according to the Bible, when a demon is expelled, he will return with 7 stronger than himself.
Nice.
So they were like, if you get rid of the first one, we're gonna just throw some more in there, and they come back like 7 times stronger as well. So.
Oh my god.
Oh.
It just keeps going.
All right. So that was 26. At 26, she had her first exorcism on June 18th, 1912.
Okay.
And this was done by Father Theophilus Ressinger.
Wait, 1912?
Yeah.
So she was 34. She said she was born in 1882.
Then she might have been 34. But her first one was done on 1912. I read that. Okay. Okay, so Father Theophilus was a Capuchin monk from Wisconsin. So you'll go ahead and click our next picture. This is a picture of Father Theophilus. Real life.
Oh my god.
Real life photo.
Oh my god.
Are we showing the cat? Is that what we're doing now?
Oh my god.
We can click to the next picture. Okay.
To the next picture.
But can we go back to the monkey?
Okay, let's go back to the monkey.
Okay, look at the monkey. He's like, oh, demons.
Yeah, that's a good caption for it.
I liked his face. I also found a really horrific drawing of the Capuchin Monkey that alarmed me, but it was a drawing, so I didn't want to get like sued.
Oh.
So anyway, this is a picture of him later in his life. He's a chill dude. So supposedly, I don't know. The only time I've ever heard the word Capuchin is when I talk about monkeys.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that means. I didn't look into it, but I liked the phrase.
It's a region.
A Capuchin monkey. A Capuchin monkey. A Capuchin monk from Wisconsin.
There you go.
This is 1912. I didn't know there were monks in
He
Wisconsin.
travels a lot.
Well,
That's
he did.
all?
He did the exorcism June 18th, 1912.
Okay.
Supposedly, it was like one of the very first exorcisms he had done.
Hmm.
Like he was kind of new to the scene or whatever.
Okay.
Just sliding into that exorcism.
I'm here now.
I
I have an idea of what to do. I've got the guidelines with me. These are the bullet points. Let's go for it.
This is what we got to do. So that was successful for the time being.
Mm-hmm. It was successful, like that's it? Like he just walked in and was like, all right.
Well, it took a little bit. It didn't say very much about the first one. It was
Okay.
relatively easygoing.
Yeah.
I guess it was just your average exorcism. You throw some holy water and she's like, and it's done.
Casual, like.
2 decades later, he returns to try again.
Why?
Because things got worse for dear and loving Anna. So that's what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about her second exorcism.
Gotcha.
Okay. So, our father, we're going to call him Father. Theophilus is a big word. The father came and he moved Anna to a convent in Iowa.
Okay.
So let's switch to the next picture. That's going to be our map of where this is in Iowa. Supposedly, the building itself is no longer there. It burnt down a couple of years ago. I tried looking for pictures of it. All I found were across the street. There's a really nice Catholic church now, which is apparently really pretty. This exorcism went from August 18th to December 23rd
Holy shit.
of 1928.
Wow. Almost 2 months?
Mm-hmm. So there were 3 periods. It talks about that there were 3 periods in this broad period.
Okay.
Where he was trying to exorcise her, essentially.
Wow. That's insane.
But it lasted from August 18th to December 23rd at 9 p.m., essentially, in the year 1928. She was 46 years old, it said. I can't do math, so I don't know how correct that is.
I'm sure it's close.
Close enough. She was in her 40s.
All right.
All right. Are you ready to...
I know the details of the exorcism are coming. And that's what I'm kind of mentally preparing for.
All right. So, first things first, upon being moved to this place, Anna was said to become enraged at being fed blessed food, and she would hiss like a cat at the nuns, because it's their practice that they bless the food before they eat it.
Mm-hmm.
And so they would bring her blessed food, and she could apparently sense that it had been blessed, and so she would hiss. Generally speaking, in exorcisms, the person won't eat very much, but when she would eat, she would not do anything with blessed food if it came in the room. Like, she could sense the difference.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Next bullet, this one excites me. Anna exhibited inhuman strength, common in your everyday exorcisms, but specifically the thing that I read said it required 6 athletic nuns to hold her down.
Athletic nuns?
And all I could think of was like Sister Act. I don't know why.
Why?
I don't know.
I've never seen Sister Act, so I couldn't tell you.
I just imagine like Whoopi Goldberg, like
just like pumping in the gym, just going for it, just like.
But they specifically said athletic nuns, and the only thing I could think about it was in like doing like pole vaulting.
Yeah.
Like,
aerobics, generally anything wearing a.
Just all in their robes.
Was going for it.
My next bullet is she levitated sometimes, IDK.
She levitated sometimes?
Yeah, she would just like randomly just decide, I'm gonna levitate, you know. But okay, so we haven't got that far into what happened during this exorcism and stuff. Just know that these are very common in your average exorcisms.
Levitation,
inhuman strength, you know, they can normally tell what's blessed and what's not, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next page. At one point, Anna was said to have leapt from her bed in a down position. She was like laying in bed, just like a normal person. She was said to have leapt from her bed like a... Oh, that's what I put. I put like a damn spider monkey. She actually like leapt from the bed and like I guess like Spider-Man, she like hooked herself above the door. Like she just flew from the bed and like hooked herself above the door, and they had to like drag her down. The priest was... The father that's exorcising her was quote unquote unperturbed. And he was like, he ordered the nuns to pull her down anyway.
Yeah. He's like, huh!
Okay, no, just pull her down.
Somebody get my cane.
I like
Hunker down there.
I like the word unperturbed.
Where's the shuffle? My God.
It was said that voices would emit from her throat while she was unconscious. Like, her lips wouldn't move, you would just hear it, like, gurgling in her throat.
Yeah.
And she was said to have a variety of different voices, some really high falsetto, some really low and deep. She would speak in a variety of languages, especially Old Latin. Latin, English, Polish, I read somewhere.
That's weird.
Which is not what I hear very often in your average exorcism. I've said that a lot.
Your typical exorcism.
Your
Only
typical.
involves Latin and demons.
But she was said to know, like, lots of different languages, like German and stuff. The father was actually born in Germany, so he knew German and he knew Latin and stuff. And he would, like, occasionally, like, try to chat with her in different languages, or the demons or whatever, and they would always respond, like, perfectly fine.
And she didn't know?
She doesn't know those languages, no. Okay. This is a long sentence. Are you ready?
I'm ready for it.
She was known to vomit, spit, drool, urinate, and defecate in inhuman quantities. The exact quote was, she urinated buckets worth, although she wasn't eating and drinking at this time. It was said to be so much that at one point during one of the exorcisms, like one of the periods, like the nuns just had to take buckets in, take everything, and like they would just like on a rotating thing.
Like a bucket line?
It's like, do you know that Mickey Mouse cartoon where he's like got the mop buckets? It's like those that just kept going.
Oh my God.
Because she was just like shitting all over those walls.
Her insides became her outsides.
There was a lot happening.
He was like, I'm gonna shit all over these walls, Theophilus!
He's unperturbed.
He's like, hey, exorcisms, you know how it is.
My favorite thing is urinated. I have like urinated buckets worth, question mark, question mark, question mark.
Yeah.
I think that was the one that bothered me.
Question marks after that.
Oh,
so, then what?
Then what? You're like, yeah, well, what
I'm
now?
just waiting for it to get worse.
Oh, boy.
Before it gets better.
We're on an adventure. Okay. The father was also said to have frequent conversations with the demons. In particular, he would have a lot of conversations with Beelzebub. Mr. Bills. I called him Bills in here because I didn't want to spell out the whole name. Mr. Bills liked to engage the father in philosophical discussions.
Pretty stand-up guy.
The one quote I took, because there's a book, okay, so Begone Satan, like, it's a PDF now, you can read the whole thing, and it recites all of his accounts and, like, all of the conversations he had and everything. Obviously, it's too much for me to quote, but the one quote that I do want to mention, because it messes me up every time, is, he said, "How dare you enter into that innocent girl and torture her this way?" And Beelzebub replied, "Ha! Ha! Did not her own father curse us into her?" That's so messed up.
Got him.
He's like, ha! Her daddy did it. It's fine.
Jesus.
Okay, so she would vomit, spit, you know, every disgusting thing. Fun fact, after this, like a majority of the nuns that had something to do with this asked to be transferred somewhere else.
I'm out.
Yeah, they were like, I just don't know.
Okay, so I'll catch you guys later.
They cartwheel out because they're all like really
they're all
athletic.
super athletic, and they just
The gymnastics have like
vault out, somersault away. Oh my God.
So when she would vomit these inhuman quantities, she would also apparently vomit what looked like spices and tobacco leaves.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's gross.
That's the strangest part so far. I'm more confused about
The
that.
next one is going to be really exciting.
Okay.
Her head was known to physically elongate and swell at random points.
What?
Her head.
Like her head.
Her head would elongate or swell at random times.
That's really weird.
Oh boy.
Like a significant amount?
The next line I have is, her body was known to bloat to twice her size and then completely go back to normal.
That's like indigestion, though. I'm like the head thing is like bothering me.
Maybe she shouldn't be eating tobacco leaves.
Yeah, why was she doing that? That's a good question too. Or spices. What? What? Anyways, go on.
Her lips would grow to the size of hands.
Her lips?
Her lips would swell to be the size of a hand. Like each one. So she just got like, rah, rah.
My God, dude.
Could you imagine? Like, I just was part of, okay, so when I was reading this about her bloating and then like puffing up and elongating and stuff, the only thing I could think of was that blueberry girl from
Willy Wonka?
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I just imagine them like rolling her down the hallway because they're athletic nuts. They probably play kickball with her.
Oh my God, dude.
That's the only thing I could think of was that damn blueberry girl.
She's gonna curse us. She could hear us talking about her. She'd be like, I'm gonna go check YouTube.
Well, that's why I kind of want to get to this part in here because I do feel like she's haunting me now. Okay. Anyway, her body was known to grow to be heavy enough that she bent the bed frame. This is something called possessed gravity. They gave it a term. So she would get so heavy and like the bed was like iron. It was like iron bars and it would just like creak underneath her even though she was like her normal size at that point.
Oh, that's
yeah.
weird.
So it was like something like weight was just pushing her down. So she had many languages. She knew many languages and she had knowledge of the unknown. It didn't really specify what the unknown was until this next one where it says she would verbally assault nuns and priests by telling them the sins of their youth.
Like, accurately?
Yeah. So, like, these nuns or whatever, like, may have, like, stolen, like, a pencil sharpener one time. And, she'd be like, I know I stole it.
Wow. Do they have any accounts of what she said?
I think there's some accounts, well, we're going to get into some other accounts that stuff that happened. But in Begone Satan, there's, like, conversations and stuff. It's not the full account because, bless Father Theophilus, he didn't know what the heck was happening. He was like, I'm going to die tomorrow, probably.
Yeah.
So, the next thing I have is she predicted a car crash.
From one of the nuns?
So Father Theophilus had this bro, this other priest, I don't remember his name. They just hung out. I guess he was like, come look at this girl I'm working on. She's fucked up. Like, essentially. But at one point, she was reported to have growled from her throat, essentially. Just wait until the end of the week. When Friday comes, then, and she didn't finish the sentence. On Friday, that priest was on his way back from, because he had gone to town for something and he was driving, and for no reason, his brakes gave out in his car.
Really?
And he swiveled off the road, and like it was a miracle he survived, essentially. That evening, she reportedly told Father Theophilus that dandy car, which was smashed to smithereens.
Wow, that's really weird.
And they said that like it was really weird because everything about the car was fine and normal. Like there was no reason for the brakes not to work. So the next thing I put was she was kind of smelly. So apparently she just like reeked all the time.
Just smelly.
Of inhuman scents.
Like, really? Like, did they say anything specific?
Sulfur and stuff.
Brimstone and all
She
that
just
stuff.
smelled disgusting. But to be fair, if they ever like strapped to a bed, like they ain't bathing her. So.
I mean, I wouldn't bathe a demonic.
Everybody gets
possessed.
a little gnarly after a couple of days of no shower.
Maybe she had eggs in her pockets.
Why would she have eggs
The
in her?
sulfur. Sounds like rotten eggs.
I was like, why is she just
like they were like breakfast, and she was like, "Thank you." She said she didn't eat it. That doesn't mean she didn't keep it in her pockets.
And eventually, all her pockets are just overflowing with eggs.
Just eggs everywhere.
Well, that might explain why there were tons of flies and mosquitoes that would suddenly swarm in the room.
See, eggs.
Well, this is why I think she's haunting us because the flies.
Oh, it could be.
We're dead now. Okay. Towards the end. What are you doing?
Just making sure.
Are you spooked?
Continue.
Towards the end of the exorcism, the Father Theophilus finally got to the point in December where he was like, I just have to exorcise you constantly. So he was constantly behind her, like lifting her arms and working her out. No, I'm kidding. I'm so funny. Okay, there's a fly on my face. Okay, it's fine. So towards the end, when he decided to basically exorcise her 24/7, for a couple days, there's a fly. Do you see it? It's like attacking me.
Do your best to ignore
Demons!
it. Be like a newscaster. Just ignore it.
Begone, Satan!
Just focus your energy.
So he decided to exercise her pretty much day in and day out, constantly. It was very taxing.
Yeah.
she would report during this time that she would dream, and she would have dreams of good and evil, like the battle over the world with Lucifer coming up and you know, Gabriel and everybody like saving the day and everything. There were these flies. And in her dreams, she always said that good was winning in her dreams. But that is a ploy often used in exorcisms.
So they'll lighten up?
So that you let your guard down because you're like, oh, good is winning. And then out of nowhere, they're like, aha! They got you know? Towards the end, on the last day, I've still got way more to go into, actually.
All right, here we go.
But on the last day, Father Theophilus was said to have a vision of Beelzebub and Lucifer in the corner of the room. So in this vision, it was like a waking lucid dream almost, in the middle of his exorcism. He saw the room completely on fire, and Beelzebub and Lucifer had been stuffed in a corner, essentially, like blocked off by God and everything. And they were in the corner, and they were freaking pissed off, and they were like, dude, just let us have her, it's fine.
That's creepy.
Okay.
I'm like...
So the room was on... I know, I get, like, goosebumps.
That's creepy. Like that...
I have more.
That's more unsettling than the rest of it, to be honest.
Yeah, so he's, like, exorcising her, and these demons, Beelzebub and Lucifer, are in the corner. They're angry. The room's on fire. Lucifer was said to be tall, with matted black fur on the lower half of his hooved body. Which is
it's kind of like
gross.
But that's kind of like the standard.
I said, think Black Phillip, but upright.
Okay.
And then when I was trying to figure out what Beelzebub looked like, because Lucifer's the one that did most of the talking to the priest at this point.
I always thought that Beelzebub was just another name for Lucifer.
No. Okay, see, that's interesting.
I didn't know that they were different.
They are
entities.
Different entities entirely, and they have different jobs, and we'll sort of go into that a little bit, at least a couple of them. They are different entities. They all kind of work under the same umbrella corporation. You know, they're all on fire. But I did say, I think Black Phillip, but upright. When I looked, Lucifer did most of the talking to the priest during this time in this vision where he was like angry. Essentially, he's like, "Leave us alone. She's ours." That sort of thing, kind of trying to deter the priest. Right. When I looked for a description of Beelzebub, it just said Beelzebub was there too.
Just hanging out.
So apparently he was really quiet the whole time. He was just like...
Probably taking notes.
So it doesn't say like what
he's just making for the future. He's like, okay, so when I have to do this.
Yeah, so they don't know like what he looks like or anything. It didn't say it. But I think the thing... Yeah, Lucifer was tall with matted black fur on the lower half of his hooked body. And everything's on fire and they're just pissed off.
Jesus.
So there were 5 main demons that were said to possess her, along with quote-unquote more lesser demons. So there was like a lot of like little demons kind of floating around because there's like the levels of hell. Yeah. The first one was Lucifer. He was the main one, kind of hanging out. Beelzebub did a lot of
the big dude himself came up and he was like, I'm here.
He was like, sup, man? Because remember, they called directly to Satan. Like they were like, hey, let her sleep with her dad because it's messed up. But Beelzebub is the one that did a lot of the philosophical discussions with the priest. Judas was also said to be there.
Really?
In the book, Begone Satan, he describes all of their voices because they all have very distinct, different voices that she used. Judas was there primarily to get her to commit suicide, which is a sin in Catholicism. So I was reading about Judas being in her or whatever, and even Judas was like, yeah, I just wanted her to kill herself. I don't really want much else. So he's just hanging out because the priest seemed so surprised because like when he was like trying to figure out the names and stuff because that's how you banish them or whatever, he was like, and he was like, Judas, what are you doing here?
Whoa. Back it up.
Judas is like, I just want her to kill herself. It's fine. When I was reading...
Is that a recreation of the way he sounded based on the text in the book?
Do you know what I thought of while I was reading this whole story?
What?
Do you know that song, My Name is Satan? My name is Satan.
Oh, yeah.
That's all I could think about when I was reading Beelzebub, like having these conversations. I just imagined him doing it in like that voice because I was like reading the conversations. So keeping it light to make sure I don't die. So yeah, Judas just wanted her to kill herself. He's like, yeah, that's really... I think it specifically wanted her to hang herself. But he was like, meh, what's up? Jacob, her father, was allowed by the devil to continue molesting her after he died.
Wow.
So essentially he died and he went to hell for being a terrible person. And then he was like, yo, I didn't get to finish what I started. And the devil's like, I got you. Go on and molest her from the inside now.
That's fucked.
Yeah.
How long ago did he die? Do you remember?
It doesn't say when he died.
Oh.
Mina, her aunt, was also there. Because apparently she had killed 4 children at some point. So she had gone to jail, not only for being a horrible person, but she had killed 4 of her children, her own children.
Her children.
I think there's some misconception. They don't know if when the demon Mina speaks in a falsetto voice to her.
Oh wait, this is like a. Oh.
Well, when I say demon, I mean like it's the spirit of her aunt.
Okay.
When she spoke from her throat in like a falsetto voice, and they suspected that was Mina. When the priest would have discussions with Mina about like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Why are you doing this? She was unreluctant to say why she was there or what she was doing there, but they were like, hey, why did you get damned to hell?
Yeah.
And she said that she had killed 4 of her children. She was like, I killed 3 of my children. Oh, wait, 4. And so some people think that was abortion, and some people think that nobody really knows what she meant by that. But a lot of people seem to think abortion because it's Catholicism.
That's weird.
My next point is Bill's just wanted to have philosophical conversations. So on December 23rd, 1928 at 9 p.m., Anna was said to have jolted upright and said, "Deport, ye fiends of hell. Begone, Satan, the Lion of Judah reigns. Hell, hell, hell." And that was the end of the exorcism.
Wow.
So she just like bolted upright. And she was like, she said that she ends up saying all the demons' names. She was like, Lucifer, Beelzebub, Judas, hell, 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 just saying their names and banishing them, I guess. And this exorcism was reported to be successful.
Wow, really?
Mm-hmm. Oh, wait. There's more.
Okay.
So Anna did end up changing her name to a couple different things. She's reported to be Mary. She's reported to be Emma Schmidt. It all sort of depends. They kind of really wanted to protect her. Her story was featured in Life magazine in 1936.
Oh, really? Okay.
Mm-hmm. I think I have a picture of that.
You do?
Not the story itself, but I do have a picture of the magazine that it was featured in. And
she wasn't a cross-country skier?
She became one of those athletic nuns.
Oh, did she? That's impressive. It was like...
I'm here now.
Yeah.
So, so you can actually find the story, and I think you actually if you sign up for Time's website, you can like read the full story on it.
Oh, okay.
Like it's a really documented story, and it's still one of the exorcism cases that the Catholic Church looks back on as an example, because it was so extensive too, because it was one of the more extensive
it lasted
ones.
almost 2 months.
So
it lasted like 4 months, August to December.
Yeah, and then she had been exorcised once before that.
Yeah,
years before. So Anna did change her name. She was said to have lived, pretty well. She only exhibited milder and quite manageable possessions thereafter.
Wow. Like for how long?
Until she died. She was constantly kind of attacked.
Wow. You just get used to it after a while, don't you?
I just like quite manageable possessions. Occasionally.
It's just like one arm just every now and then.
And this is my last bullet, and it says, the Lord was said to continue to appear to her to encourage her to be faithful.
Nice. That's good.
That's not good. She has just been through hell. I think she's faithful enough for enough people. But she did continue to be very devout to the church.
I would take that as like, hey, like trust, I'm still here. Like,
I got you. But yeah, so the Lord was said to continue to be in her life, and she was said to have visions of the Lord and the Spirit until her death, where he was constantly just reminding her, be faithful, be faithful, be faithful, be true. After this, too, Theophilus became one of the leading exorcists.
Really?
In America. He wrote Begone Satan. It was published.
He was the dude that wrote that.
He wrote Begone Satan.
Okay.
And I think it was like translated too.
I didn't even notice that.
Somebody else translated it, so there's another name on it, but he's the one. It's like from his excerpts.
Yeah.
If you go to the next picture, there was a movie that came out last year based on her.
That looks terrible.
I know, that's why I think we need to watch it.
That looks absolutely awful. Look at that cover. Wow.
I was looking at pictures. It looked freaking amazing.
Based on a true story.
Deliver her from evil.
Wow, that looks awful.
So,
what does that 15 mean? Does that mean 15-year-olds only?
I just found it on the internet. It's a British film, I think.
Oh my god.
So there was a movie. And that is the Exorcism.
That's the Exorcism of Anna Ecklund.
Of Anna Ecklund.
What do you think? That's intense. Like,
it's a lot. I had heard of the Exorcism of Anna Michael, I think that's the one that went to court. It was a big court case, and they were like, "Whoa, you killed her," and they were like, "No, demons killed her."
And they did. Well, what happened
with Anna?
Yeah,
she died.
Yeah, but were they charged, or
I don't
were they
know.
like, yeah, demons definitely did it?
I don't remember, but it's like the first time that like a demon exorcism case actually went to court for whatever reason.
Really?
So it's highly publicized, and there was like lots of oh dear, there was lots of publicity and stuff for it. And there's pictures of her and everything. Her story is really sad. She was like 23, I think, when she died, and she was like, really malnourished. And in the court case of that one, they do a lot of, is it demons, or did she actually just have like epileptic seizures and stuff? Yeah. So that one is the exorcism case that I think a lot of people hear of when they think about it. This one intrigued me just because the book Begone Satan.
Yeah, I need to do a book about it.
And it's like I think it's like an official like guide
right.
used in the Catholic Church still.
Yeah.
Well. Yeah.
Let's chat.
It's pretty crazy.
What do you guys think about that story? The Exorcism of Anna Ecklund. Do you think it's do you think it was real? Do you believe in exorcisms or ghosts? Let's scroll back up the chat here and see what we can see. See if there are any interesting comments or questions. There's a lot of banter.
There's always banter.
David yelling about banning people. Oh my gosh, that is a very realistic pedophile costume. Okay. Let's see here. How many demons does it take to rape a kid? Apparently it took 5.
No, and then a lot of lesser demons.
I feel like all this creepy stuff is people trying to screw with people because that sounds like something I would totally do. That could be that. Like that. I don't know. It's weird. Like it's here's the real question. How many of you believe in demons and ghosts and the supernatural?
Absolutely. I 100% do.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Like
I don't know if I necessarily believe in it in like a demon versus angel type setting. Yeah. I definitely believe in negative spirits and like negative energies. And I think that's what I base it more from. And I think a lot of times, gonna get really kind of weird and philosophical strange. I feel like when people are possessed, the reason that they give the demons names or whatever is because a lot of times they're very religious. So those are the names they associate with evil. I think a person who is not religious will associate it with different names and associate it with different feelings, if that makes sense.
I could see that.
I think that sometimes when it comes to, as a more serious topic, when it comes to people like that commit suicide and stuff, I 100% think that there's some sort of really negative energy that forces somebody to do that.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So I definitely believe in possessions and stuff. I think extreme cases like Anna are rare, but I definitely believe in them 100%.
I mean, it definitely it's interesting. I just want to know. I mean, obviously her child life was absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
And
the interesting thing I read too. So she was cursed because she wouldn't have sex with her dad.
Yeah. Essentially.
Interestingly enough, one article that I read about her said that she did manage to keep her virginity.
Really?
Despite the trials. She resisted him.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. It's my understanding that she resisted him for however long it took for him to die, essentially. So since he never really got the chance to do that in life, he made a deal with the devil, essentially, to do it in death.
Jesus Christ.
But what I did read was that she was able to keep her virginity despite the trials that ailed her, which is really nice in a good way, because I know that the fact that she was able to fight him off and everything is really nice to me. It's a good side, I think.
Did you read anything about the aunt and the father's relationship at all, or anything about like any of their backstories?
They did not have anything about them.
Really?
Just
not
that,
even the father? Like.
And I never even knew she had other siblings. And see, the thing is, because
It seems really covered up.
It was
It's
very...
just like, hey, we want you to know about this.
They wanted to really protect her, too.
Yeah.
And I think that's what a lot of that is.
How old? When did she die? Or is she still alive?
40s, I want to say.
Okay, so she would have been like in her 70s.
60s or 70s. Yeah.
I mean, it seems like she made it through fine.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, in other possession cases that I've read about and I've heard about, so many of them end with death or some sort of ailment. And, you know, even with like Anna Michael or whatever, I think that's her name. I could be wrong. You know who I'm talking about, though. She did die. And I think the fact that this Anna was able to maintain and come through it so successfully and continue to battle that for the rest of her life successfully is, like, mind-blowing to me.
Yeah. I wish... Did she ever do any interviews about it? Because
No.
I want to know what, like,
The only
her
reason...
later life was like. You know, like, the minor possessions or, like, what she thought.
The minor possessions.
Well, yeah, like, what is
Not
that?
today, demons!
Pause.
I think... It's my understanding that they had changed her name in everything that was published for a long time. So she never did interviews. She never did anything. Like, I think she was dead by the time her name actually came out.
Really?
And they sometimes changed it to Emma Schmidt too. But I could find more on Anna Ecklund. So they did. I mean, they protected her, and I think that's very important to victims sometimes.
Yeah. What did Theophilus go on to do anything else? Or, I mean, was he, like, involved in, like, other... You said he was, like, a contact. He basically became
like, one of the leading... Well, when he came back to do the second exorcism on her in 1928, by that point, he had apparently been doing tons of them. So he was like, I practiced. Yeah, so he had done basically, like, one of his very first exorcisms on her in 1912. And then when he came back, he was, like, coming back to his roots. Gotcha. And he was more experienced, and he was like... He was like, Super Saiyan. Begone, Satan! He's like, I got you. Yeah. Huh. So, and he has a Wikipedia page where it does say that he became known for being a leading exorcist in America. Yeah. Did anything ever happen to his helper or anything? Like, did they talk about his experience at all? Because, I mean, that dude was he's mentioned the priest. The other priest. He's mentioned a couple times in Begone Satan. If you look up Begone Satan with an exclamation point, and Begone is all one word. Looks like this. Are you putting it all? Oh, yeah. If you look this up, you can find PDFs of it. And it's, like, all typed out and everything. It's so weird to think of it as a PDF, but you can like skim through and it definitely mentions like all the he goes into some details about conversations. I didn't want to pull too many quotes from those conversations because Beelzebub is definitely kind of an asshole. He's like, "What are you gonna do?" Apparently, he says "ha" a lot too. I read that. Ha. So yeah, like you can read the whole conversation, and he talks about like the process, and he talks about it's, you know, written in 19 whatever, so it's got some weird language going on, but... Is that 1928? Yeah, I think so. After 23 days battle in December. Yeah. Huh. Well, that's nuts, actually. I don't even know how to process this. Let's see. Begone Satan is definitely a must-read for people that are interested in that sort of thing. Yeah. Let's see. Mr. Myth says, maybe she went on to become a housewife and randomly left blood in the kitchen and driveway. Maybe she was a barrel. She was minorly possessed. Maybe her minor possessions were a barrel. Let's see. In Before Dead. She tried to hide from the demons in a barrel, and it was really wrong. In Before Dead says, I don't believe the story because no one, not even a demon, would willingly go to Iowa. I found that funny, too. I was like, Iowa. In, like, 1912. There's nothing in Iowa. Exactly. There's nothing else to do there. They're like, Even the nuns were like... Maybe maybe the demon plane exists, like... The demon plane just exists only in Iowa. No. It exists like... It is Iowa. It exists like Earth exists. Like, it's like a... Did you ever see Constantine? Yeah, you made me watch it one time. It's like a negative version of the world. Like, yeah, so it's like a mirror and stuff. Yeah. So maybe he was just, like, walking around and he wound up in Iowa and he was like... Good enough for me! There is nothing else here. You know? I don't know. Have to agree. No demon would go to Iowa willingly. But I think she was actually born somewhere else. It just said Midwest. They did the exorcism in Iowa because it was the closest convent. I mean, they probably weren't too far away then. It was the closest convent, and if I remember reading correctly, he specifically wanted to do it outside of her home community, in a kind of like secretive hush hush. Yeah. We're literally carrying out buckets of shit every day. Jesus. Were there other people there? Yeah, there were tons of nuns, dude. Well, I mean, not just like nuns, but like other people I don't know
With
what the town was
issues?
like at that point. I just know that they were like all these really athletic, fit nuns, and then after the exorcism, they all asked to be transferred
No.
elsewhere.
Done.
Like
What,
leaving Iowa will save them.
Yeah.
You're
yeah.
a nun.
Were there any accounts of the nuns saying anything? Like, were there any
No.
comments from them?
I don't remember if that was in the book. I just know that she was like, she'd always like tell them of their sins when they were kids.
I'm interested about that.
Which messes me up. Like, what could nuns have done when they were kids? That was so bad.
How
Like,
accurate is she? That's what I'm really curious.
they were accurate though. That's
Like,
the thing.
yeah,
she would like hit the nail on the head, or not. I say she. The demons knew their sins, and they would like whisper them to torment them because these are women that have like pledged their life to being pure and everything. And she would do it to priests that came in too.
Wow, that's insane. Actually,
It's yeah. The reason I heard this on a podcast initially, like parts of it, and I was like, I'd never heard of this exorcism before. I was like, holy shit, I have to do this one.
Yeah, that's I don't even know.
Show cat.
I'm surprised
grab the cat so we can.
I'm surprised she survived it. To be honest, it doesn't seem like many of those stories end
well.
well.
She looks so alarmed.
Any ideas for next week? That's a good question.
I'm not sure. If you've got suggestions, please shoot them below. I have a list. Oh, don't be mean to her. I have a list. I just haven't narrowed it down. Because I think my problem is I don't want to do something that's too short or too long, and I don't want to do something that nobody's going to find interesting. I was nervous about doing the possession story and the exorcism because it's not like anything we've done yet. Because I've been doing like murders and disappearances and stuff. I don't know. I got really nervous about doing the exorcism.
I like the exorcism. It's anything that's like weird.
Yeah, I think that's my thing too. It's like that the reason I was nervous about this one, like I mentioned to you briefly, is because it's not like we can debate what happened. This is like the account of it.
This is what happened.
And this is some weird ass shit you need to know about.
Yeah. I don't know.
Mr. Myth, if you have suggestions, please leave them. I would love to look into weird stuff. Believe me.
Definitely. Well, next week you should play with a Luigi board.
I don't have a Luigi board, but I do own a Ouija board.
We could play with a Luigi board. We could stomp on some Koopas.
I do own a Ouija board, actually.
Goombas.
I got it for my 16th birthday. Used.
That's sketchy. You can't buy used Ouija boards. At least if they come from like Hasbro or whatever, you're like, well, I don't think that anybody there was doing it.
My dad found it at a yard sale the morning of my 16th birthday.
Literally how every horror story starts.
So for my 16th birthday, I distinctly remember he came home and he was like, I got you presents. And I was like, what did you get me? And he goes, are you ready? He goes, I got you a barbecue sandwich from your favorite place. And I got you a Ouija board from a yard sale.
Oh my god.
Happy 16th birthday, Stephanie.
Oh my god.
I've never tried to use my Ouija board. I am terrified of it. It just stays in the closet.
We could do that. We'll live stream.
I will
Ouija
not.
board.
I will not.
Dude, you just gotta follow the rules.
Bruh. Next week I'm gonna do a story on a Ouija board experiment gone wrong, okay?
Oh my god.
Like that movie Ouija.
That movie was bad.
It was. No. Off topic slightly, but Ouija boards, dude, like, the demons will often, like, disguise themselves as, like, good spirits and, like, spirits that you know. You'll be like, oh, it's my grandma! And they're like, yes!
Yeah,
and then they, like, you allow them into your house.
I've had experiences with Ouija boards with people that I know.
So what you're saying is we have to do, like, a personal video one day for our live stream of all the weird shit that we've had happen to us.
Yeah, we can definitely do that.
We can talk about the demons that are currently invading my life. I'm not lying. They live in the closet.
I believe you.
I'm dying.
I just can't do anything about it.
Help me.
So if I ignore it, it won't affect me. That's what I'm banking on, at least.
It's like I came home the other day, remember, and I was like, Jordan, I want to get a crystal. And you were like, okay.
You do.
Yeah, all right. That's fine. Jordan, I got some sage. I'm going to bless the house. Okay.
Whatever you want to do, man. Whatever works.
We're not going to play with the Ouija board. I refuse.
Lame.
So, not happening.
Anyways, all right. Any last words, comments, concerns, questions, ideas?
I'm scared of Bills.
Beelzebub?
My name is Satan.
Yeah. Beelzebub. I just feel like he looks like a giant beetle. Like, whenever I hear that word.
My real name is Beelzebub, but you can call me Bills.
What is that?
That's from the song.
What song?
That song, My Name is Satan.
Oh, God, I don't know that song.
My turn-ons are romantic walks and killing the unborn.
What song is that? Is that like
That's a real song.
It sounds like a South Park song.
No, it's a comedian song.
Oh,
look it up.
I know who that is.
My name is Satan.
It's that guy.
It's that guy. I know who you're talking about. It's the dude
with the guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did that one song. My girlfriend's a Nazi or whatever.
Yeah.
I think you're a Nazi.
I think you're a Nazi. Yeah. That
he
guy.
did. He did. My Name is Satan.
Whatever his name is. Huh?
My name is Beelzebub. You can call me Bills. My turns are romantic walks and killing the unborn.
Oh, that didn't even rhyme.
Take a bubble bath. Okay. Anyway.
Anyways.
Is that the video?
Oh God,
it's probably the video.
Oh my God.
All right.
Anyways, all right, guys, we're gonna close it out here. Thank you all for hanging out with us. This has been episode number 4, The Exorcism of
Anna Ecklund.
Anna Ecklund. Anna Ecklund, it's right there on the screen. So thank you guys for hanging out. If you missed it, or if you just got here and didn't see the beginning part, it will be uploaded to YouTube in probably 2 days or so, 2-3 days.
Couple days.
At the most.
And if you've missed any of our previous episodes, you can also check our YouTube, which is there in the chat box. And all of our previous things are up there, and you can skip over my stupid comments in those. Like, you can't skip it when we're watching it live.
Yep.
Jordan just tunes me out.
Also, thank you for the follows In Before Dead and David87927.
You've thanked me twice now.
They're both mods in my chat. I don't know how you become a mod in my chat without me.
Without following.
Oh my God. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you guys later. Tonight, maybe. Okay, bye.